And what's up, everyone? This will be another hacking quiz. You guys seemed to love it last time, so let's continue. The game is, I show you a picture, you tell me how to hack it, and if you don't know, I will tell you. Let's get started. Now we can see in this Nmap scan, does anything here look interesting to you? Does anything here stick out to you? What do you think? Well, I would say yes. In general, SSH is typically not vulnerable. It definitely makes sense to check for the version and look at public exploit just in case. But 99% of cases when you're doing CDFs and stuff like this and an OSCP, it's not going to be vulnerable in and of itself. If you have credentials, then yes, SSH can be extremely important and interesting, right? But here we actually have a web server that exists running as this Apache server right here. And we have some more additional information that might be of use. And then we see that it's running on a very non-default port, 12,340. So that is very interesting. And this is why we once again run Nmap with version fingerprinting as well. So we actually catch this port and the fact that it's actually a HTTP server and not just some random TCP port that might not be as interesting, right? So in this image right here, what are we essentially doing? And once again, does anything here stand out or look interesting to you? What do you think? What we're doing in this image is that we're using a tool called WFuzz. You can also use FFuzz, you can also use GoBuster and DirBuster and DirSearch and whatever tool, or FeroxBuster, or whatever tool you prefer to do essentially fuzzing or brute forcing directories and files, okay? Because right here we have a web server, but then we want to find what files can we find on this web server, right? And what directories can we find? And we can actually see that we are seeing a directory called right here RMS, and it's probably difficult to see, but this one is actually giving a 301 message, which essentially means redirect, okay? So we're going to this path right here and it's redirecting us somewhere, okay? So that is interesting. We don't know what is under this RMS likely directory, and we would like to enumerate that further, right? And then after that, we can do RMS and then /fuzz, so we can fuzz after this directory as well. You can also perform recursive directory brute forcing as well with tools like FF, but yeah, can be a bit more efficient, but doesn't really matter. Both are perfectly fine. And we can see on the right side right here that I'm just doing some banner grabbing with Netcat on this port, right, just to see what it is. So we can see that it is in fact a web server. It's giving us HTTP headers in response, and we can once again verify that it's running as the server version right here. And yeah, we are performing a bad request, but it doesn't really matter. I just wanted to confirm what type of service this was and get the server information. Okay, but Nmap already gave us that. I'm just double checking. So we can see this right here when we are going to the path that we found with WFuzz. So I would like to ask you, does anything here look interesting? Does anything here look exploitable? What would you do from here? What do you think? Well, if you ask me, what I would do is that I would like to use tools like Wapalyzer to try to identify more specifically what is running here, what type of technology is running here. Is this some type of CMS? Is there information we haven't yet gotten? Is there some vulnerable component in a web app that could be exploitable? Can we find a more specific version? Like what exactly is this, right? We can see Pathfinder Hotel Restaurant. I would maybe just look that up and see what that could possibly be. I would look at the bottom right here in case there's any information in terms of like what technology is being ran on the site. That's also why I would like to use a tool like Wapalyzer. I also pay attention to the title just in case it reveals some type of version or what type of software this is, just so we can look at public exploits. I would also like to click around on these different pages right here. Technically, there's parameters here we can try to inject with code, like command injection, etc. But that's going to be one of the last things we check. Ideally, I would just like to figure out what type of application this is, okay? So we don't have too much information, nothing here immediately tells us what this is. So what we can do is we can take a look at this port, see if this is a common port online for some type of specific web server. We can look up this information right here to try to look for public exploits to find out what this is. We can also look at the source code as well by hitting Ctrl-U, just see if there's any version there or anything. And we also have this path right here called RMS. We can look see if that's a unique path and what it possibly means. And that is exactly what we're going to do. We can see that I look up RMS exploits. And we can see that this is actually a restaurant management system, okay? So we don't have too much information right here, but we were able to use the little information we had to try to figure out what this actually was, and we were able to identify this was the case, okay? So we find a public exploit right here. We can see at the top right that it's a SQL injection, and then we can also see that it's giving us some example code right here, right? And once again, this is the RMS path. We see that it's not doing any specific port right here, it's just an example. But we can see if we have, for instance, it's this delete order.php file on the web server, and we can try this SQL injection as well. And if we do, then we know for a fact that this restaurant management system is the same as the one we are dealing with, right? So that's a way that you can essentially double fact check the fact that you did indeed find the right software, and that this is the way to test for vulnerabilities, right? And we all found this just because we looked up the path. So very important that you do stuff like this. Fingerprinting is crucial for the OSCP. But we can also see that we found a version that enables remote code execution. Now we had to tweak this exploit a little bit to make it work, but that is perfectly fine. We can see that we were able to upload a shell, and then it's giving us this output right here. So all of a sudden, we now have a remote code execution. So yeah. We go to reverse shell generator, we enable or we essentially create a simple reverse shell. We already have code execution, right? So this is going to be simple to get a shell. And we can see we have a shell, right? And from a header always we would like to try to do privesc to get the most privileges possible on this machine. But yeah, that was pretty much it. Hope this was informative, and best of luck on your studies, and have an awesome day, everyone. And if you find this video useful, then you're absolutely gonna love this. We have a massive, free-to-try, 25-hour plus OSCP course that you can see that people are just absolutely loving. That inside gives you all of the resources that you need to crush the OSCP. We have a massive roadmap that literally covers everything. We cover initial access, privilege escalation, Windows and Linux. We cover Active Directory. We cover post-exploitation. We cover lateral movement. We cover pivoting, tunneling. We cover the exam. We cover the reporting. We cover all of the attacks that you need and all of the techniques that you need for OSCP. We also cover all the rooms that you need to do, and all of the rooms is linked inside. We cover Active Directory chains as well, and we literally cover everything. And you will instantly get all of these resources once you join. So click the link down below, try it completely for free. I'll see you inside.